portion, we talk about JT Barrett and what he meant to the overall program of the team. And for all of his limitations, the one thing that I think Urban Meyer loved most about him, well, several things, but his toughness, his leadership, his teammates loved him. But on those short yardage plays where they would, empty the backfield and send JT Barrett into the line with numbers advantage. But what Meyer loved is he was so good at finding that extra yard, finding that little crease that they needed. And so I wonder how much they're going to miss that next year, because if it's Dwayne Haskins, he's not like that. If it's Joe Burrow, he's similar to that, but JT Barrett was just really good at finding that extra little foot or two. And you look at the Michigan game in 2016, however you think it ended up being, he got where he needed to be in the ref's eyes. And he did that, 95% of the time. And if you now go to a quarterback who does it 60% of the time, that's going to be a drop off, but will they make up for it by maybe stretching the field more through the passing game? So there's some guys that are going to have to be replaced, but Urban Meyer has been recruiting since 2012 at Ohio State to get that done.
In reviewing the passing offense, Tony, it makes me think and just really appreciate how magical that fourth quarter was against Penn State, because the offense in the passing game just continued after that to look a little clunky at times. And I'm not going to rest that all on JT Barrett. I think it was just a combination of a number of things, and it never the numbers were great leading into the Penn State game against the likes of Rutgers, Nebraska, and the rest of them. But that Penn State game, man, if JT could bottle that in regards to, and I know guys were making some plays for him, the line did a tremendous job, but man, he was slinging it, and it just appeared as though the velocity went up like 3 or 4 miles an hour on the fastball, and he was just slicing that thing through windows that it just looked like 2014 at 2.0, like an upgrade even from his best football.
Yeah, and looking back to the comparing that to Nick Saban pulling Jalen Hurts, and it got me wondering, got a bunch of people who follow Ohio State football wondering, would Urban Meyer have done that? Pulled JT Barrett for Dwayne Haskins. But I don't think, and I wrote about this, I don't think he ever really had the opportunity, because the game where you would do it would be the Iowa game. And that was 1 week after the Penn State fourth quarter. And so Ohio State was down by 14 points at halftime against Iowa. You're not going to pull him at that point because you just saw what he did against Penn State the week before. And so that was on everybody's, that recency bias or whatever. I mean, that happened. And so Urban Meyer, as attached and loyal as he is to JT Barrett, he's not going to bench him at that point for a 14-point halftime deficit. And that's what's so bizarre, so puzzling, so I guess frustrating for the fan base, is that sometimes you would get what you saw out of JT Barrett at Penn State, but for the most part, he was also what limited their ability to get over a Clemson, or to, every year towards the end of the season, the passing game would struggle with Barrett. Was it weather? Was it this? Was it that? It was consistently, it would downgrade. His completion percentage would drop. His yards would drop. And it was, I think I wrote about this as well, that he took them as far as the offense could go. And I think that's sort of what frustrated fans, is he couldn't take them over the hump.